We, the jury, unanimously find the defendant, Chi Rick Chow, as to the charge of murder, not guilty.
I don't care what that jury said. There is no justification for that. It should never happen again, and it is not open season on black people for anybody to feel like they should be able to do it because the jury found him not guilty.
Tonight, the verdict is in. After deliberating for nearly 8 hours, a jury has found Rick Chow not guilty of murder in the death of 14-year-old Cyrus Carmack Belton. And you just heard there from attorney Todd Rutherford, who is representing the Carmack Belton family. That jury finding Chow not guilty of murder in that shooting death. The verdict again coming nearly 8 hours after deliberations. News 19's Kiki Gushu is in studio tonight with more details. Kiki.
JR, for hours today, it appeared the jury was struggling with this case. They asked to hear definitions of malice and murder again, sent multiple notes to the judge, and at one point, some jurors indicated they were ready to go home. But Judge Heath Taylor kept them deliberating, saying the attention surrounding this case made him reluctant to stop the process once it has started. Then, just before 8:45 tonight, the court announced its verdict.
Indictment number 2023 GS 4007440. State of South Carolina, County of Richland versus Chi Rick Chow. We, the jury, unanimously find the defendant, Chi Rick Chow, as to the charge of murder, not guilty. Fine number.
The verdict ended a day that began with emotional closing arguments. Prosecutors argued Cyrus Carmack Belton was a frightened child running for his life.
He died scared. He died bleeding to death. Rick Chow's face being the last one he saw. He died surrounded by strangers.
The defense told jurors the state was ignoring what attorney Sean Kent called the rest of the story. He argued this case was not about a stolen bottle of water, but about a father trying to protect his son.
They made you think the great Rick Chow, this evil human being over here, killed a man over $1. And that is disgusting, that is awful, that is abhorrent, but that's not what happened.
After the verdict, family attorney Todd Rutherford said the family was devastated.
There is no way that a child who did nothing wrong, who is shot in his back, how that jury can justify that verdict. I've been practicing law for almost 30 years. I've never seen anything like this.
Meanwhile, defense attorney Jack Swerling said the jury reached the correct decision.
And I just don't know what any parent would do otherwise. I mean, nobody wants to take anybody's life, but you're going to protect your children. You're going to protect yourself. You're going to protect your wife.
County jail tonight. The Belton family says it will continue pursuing a civil lawsuit, while the defense says the jury's verdict confirmed what they have argued from the start, that Chow acted to defend his son. The Belton's family attorney also called for calm tonight, urging people upset by the verdict to express their feelings peacefully. Live in studio, Kiki Gushu, News 19, WLTX.
All right, Kiki, thank you again. Rick Chow.
Today's trial also gave us the first glimpses of how the night of the killing played out after years of only hearing about what took place. They come from a combination of surveillance video from Chow's store as well as body-worn footage from deputies who responded to this. Prosecutors played the videos during Wednesday's testimony. They only show fragments of that evening, but it does include video of Cyrus leaving the store that night. Moments later, Chow and his son also walk outside and follow him. Within a matter of seconds, Cyrus suddenly starts running, and Chow and his son can be seen right here running as well. A Richland County Sheriff's body camera captured the deputy interacting several times with Chow less than a half an hour after the killing. The deputy can also be heard telling Chow to go back to his car and sit there. The store's surveillance videos did not contain audio.
A lot of sorrow, man. That young man had a gun on him, yes, sure, but he not only was he right because he didn't steal the water, he still walked away knowing that he had something that could have protected himself. For him to have the sense to still walk away, that man would have been bright, you know what I'm saying? That man would have been something special about that man, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I feel like something was taken from us as a community.
This baby died, he lost his life, and the verdict itself, hearing that mother cry as a mother with 3 children, I don't understand why there are so many Richland County police deputies out here.
I think the prosecution failed us because they should have added on the lesser charge, and manslaughter should have also been on the table.
I'm going to say something real quick right before I get to the last clip that I want to show. First of all, I really would like to know, why do we sit here and we like to leave the big facts out? Like when you heard this dude just come on here and say, yeah, you know, he still had the sense to walk away even with a gun. He had a firearm on him. Why does this 14-year-old have a firearm on him? We not going past that. No, I don't care. We're not going past it. Why he got a firearm? Why does 14-year-old have a firearm on him? And then we sitting there talking about something, hear the cries of the mother, and she got 3 kids, and one of them had a firearm at 14 years old. What kind of mother? What kind of parent are we talking about? 14 years old with the firearm on him to go into a store where no money was found on his person. Now, we got people all day that like to sit there and say, well, guess what? Not everybody carry cash these days. I get that, because neither do I. I always tap when I pay. For sure, I get that. But guess what? If you would have seen, and I wish I had it, if you would have seen the footage of him actually rumbling around with his hands in his pockets and those waters he was grabbing out the refrigerator, he puts them back. I'll give him that. He puts them back. Here's the thing. There's only 1 or 2 things an intelligent person is going to do when they get accused of stealing at a store. All right? Either you're going to be like, I ain't stole nothing. You're going to go up to the counter, and whatever you grab, you're going to pay for. Or you're going to say, you know what? I feel disrespected. This place racist. I'm going to walk out. And even when they come up to you, because they're going to come behind you because they think you stealing. Okay, guess what? You deal with it. You don't take off running. Why? Because you got a firearm on you? Let's stop going past that part. He got a firearm. We can sit here and say, well, yeah, he ran for his life because he was scared. He's scared with a firearm on him? Tell me how much sense does that make? If there's an issue you have with somebody out on the street, right? For whatever reason, this is unrelated. Say you got an issue with somebody on the street, something happens, it's real quick, happens just like that. They pull out a firearm on you. You got a firearm on you. Are you going to run for your life? Or are you really going to get to some safety where you can pull your firearm out? And if you need to exchange fire, you will. Let's start thinking. We're going to say, yeah, he was scared running from his life, but he had a whole firearm on him that he shouldn't have had in the first place. I think that's the real reason he ran, is because he know if they call police, they get a hold of him and hold him until police get there, they're going to find the firearm on him. We can't sit here and say, well, they heard the cries of this mother. I'm not going to say that's a bad mother. I can't really say that's a good mother either. I'm sorry. My child would never have a firearm on him. I don't care how old he is. Unless he's an adult and he's over 21, and able to purchase his own firearm and he's not in my house, he can have a firearm on all you want to. I don't care. I'm like, but as long as my 14-year-old boy is never going to have access to a firearm, it's not going to happen. We don't even live in somewhere where he can have access to a firearm. They're definitely not like that around where we live. They definitely don't have no firearms. These kids don't have no firearms where I live. They listen to like music that would influence that, but they don't participate at all. You don't hear them going around talking about gang this, none of that. Not where we live. It's not happening. We're not raising them like that. We're not raising him around that. I just don't understand how we could continue to sit there and bypass the part that this 14-year-old had a whole firearm on him. I love the fact that they love to come together every time it's an issue of a black person dying due to the hands of another race. But never will you see them come together, hold up signs, be so sad and mad at juries and stuff when it comes to the black on black crime. I want to show y'all something, right? Watch this. This is just in Chicago alone in 2026. This is just Chicago alone. Now, all of them obviously are not black. But some of them you can probably tell black just by the name over to the right, right? Like we got Ramirez. Yeah, of course, they probably not black. But guess what? These are still homicides. These are not self-defense. So we did not even like the situation we talking about. We are talking about straight up homicide. Look, Royalty, Jaquan, Reginald. I'm like, come on, Lisa, Fred, Vonnie, Anthony. These are all homicides that have happened this year, and we're only at almost half of the year. The list continues to go on, and this is just Chicago. I'm only bringing up Chicago because we know that that happens to be a dangerous city now, according to everything we've learned and everything we can keep up with. We can keep track of this. Literally, on the right, you can tell a lot of them are black names. I haven't seen not one protest, not one we standing outside with signs. We are so saddened of the homicides of these young people in Chicago in this year. 2026 alone. Now, this just show all the red dots are all the homicides documented so far in 2026 of Chicago. We still got a whole nother half of a year to go. A whole nother half of a year. Now, I could have done multiple cities too. I could do Baton Rouge. I can do Fort Worth, Dallas, Fort Worth. I can do LA, multiple neighborhoods in LA. I'm like, I could do like the whole LA. We could have did St. Louis, we could have did Little Rock, we could have did a lot of cities. I literally just picked Chicago just cause. Okay. The reason I brought that up, because I don't understand why we so up in arms and we will sit here and say, hey, it's not open season on black people because of this not guilty verdict. But it seems to be open season when we get to these inner cities and it's always black on black homicides. It seems to be open season. Y'all ain't saying nothing about that. You'll get on the news about this Asian man winning a self-defense claim, but you won't get on the news when we're talking about our own black kids. One of them was like 17 years old. One of them was 15. I'm like, on the list I just showed. My point, stop being selective with it. If you want to protect our black youth, then protect them against everybody, not just all other races. You protect them. Let me get this straight. All of y'all that you just seen and everybody that you see is so wrapped up into this and pissed off and all that about it. Let me get this straight. Y'all want to protect black youth from every other race but their own. Because that's what it seems like with the list I just showed you. That's what it seems like. Because I never seen not one of y'all on that news station get on there about the black on black crime that happened in your city. And that ain't Chicago. I was just using Chicago. But nobody is sitting there, even if Chicago, how many of y'all out there that was on that news did not know this little boy? But you still showed up for him, right? Why you don't show up for these other little boys all across America that are being unalived by their own people? Why we never stand up for that? Why we never protest for that? Why we don't constantly get on this internet and constantly talk about the bad about our community? Like, and I don't mean like just constantly talk about it. I mean, like, why do we only want to talk about the bad of our community when it comes to dealing with our community and another race? Like, we never want to talk about the things our community do to their self. We never want to talk about that, because as soon as you start talking about that, oh, you only want to talk bad about your own people. You want to be white. You hate yourself, and like it's getting annoying at this point. It's getting annoying. I'm getting tired of seeing this selective outrage from this homicide that happened 3 years ago. And I get it why people mad about it, because the trial just happened and they got found not guilty. Now, I will say this, being in private security, right? We are taught that if somebody gonna steal something from a store, you get a description to be able to give to the police and all that, and then you let them go. Take whatever they're gonna take, you let them go. Don't even try to stop them. Let them go. Just get that description. Get the video footage from the store, give all that to the cops. That person will be banned. Call the cops if you see him again. I'm like, that is what you trained on. Now, to me, I'm not so sure with self-defense. I'm like, because like we were trained, once you leave whatever safety you have, like Chow and his son had the safety of their store, right? Once he ran away. Now, like I said, I think he ran away because he had the firearm on him. And he know if the police came, if they held him there till the police came, he getting locked up. So he ran. Right, which if you had money on you, like your card or your phone or whatever, or anything like that, and you weren't stealing, I don't know why you ran when you weren't stealing. If you weren't doing anything wrong, but you run, I don't know. That just doesn't seem intelligent to me. But whatever, you're a kid. You don't know no better. He might not know no better. Whatever. But he knows enough to not have a firearm on him and knows he's not old enough to go buy one. He know that much, but he still had one. Point is, how we're trained is once you leave that safety of whatever building you're in or whatever, you no longer, it's going to be very more difficult for you to claim self-defense once you leave that area of safety, like he had with his store, him and his son had with the store. At that point, you should have got the description, got the video camera footage, print out the picture, post it up, they're banned like every other grocery store, convenience store, every other gas station does. All right, get the picture, put it up, make the police report, they're banned, they're trespassed. You leave it at that. And, you know, we can't rule out that I don't know Chow personally, but could have been racist. I've been to about 4 Asian countries, right? Each time, I'm not gonna say it was racism because I don't know if it was because we were black or because we were American. But there was a few places in these Asian countries we could not go into. Like there was a couple, like there was a few establishments we were not allowed in. We couldn't even walk in the door. And like I said, I don't know if it was because we were black and American, black or American. I don't know. I don't know if it was that they didn't like Americans or they didn't like black people or both. I do not know. All I know is we were not allowed to go in, and we're both of those things. All right. So I can't rule that out, especially and also understand the black community has a bad stain on their name for a lot of the things we portray. We portray scamming. We portray people that still commit crimes the most out of a lot of people. We portray homicides like it's fun to do when you talk about drill music and the influence these young kids have today of the younger artists of today. Like we put some of this stuff on ourselves and then get mad when people start to profile us or be racist towards us. All right. Like some of the stuff we done put on ourselves. All right. Like, okay, for instance, for him, like when he went in there with the whole firearm, why is he walking around with the firearm? You got ops at 14? What are you into? Why you got a firearm on you? At 14, that make it doesn't, we put that on ourselves. What do you got to walk around with the firearm for? That makes no sense. At 14, I didn't have a firearm till 35. Make that make sense. 35. Now, the last thing I want to show y'all is the black lawyer that was on the defense team. And he's going to explain to you how the black community and not just the black community, but definitely white people come at him for deciding to take the case.
Just got done defending a pretty high-profile case that I think most of the world knows about. And a lot of folks have been asking a lot of questions, and usually I don't talk about the cases, but in this situation, given the negative attention and the vitriol and the racist threats and the death messages that myself and my family, I thought I'd address some things. And one of the biggest ones people have asked me is, why would you take on this representation? Now, first, I've been practicing law for 25 years. Here recently and shortly, and actually throughout that entire time, I've represented 3 African-American males who are accused of raping a little white girl. I have represented an individual who was accused of killing a person, folding his body and sticking him in an abandoned building in Florence, South Carolina. I have represented a young lady who was accused of killing and drowning her newborn baby. I have represented countless individuals who have been accused of criminal sexual conduct, countless individuals who have been accused of child pornography. I represent an individual in Florence who was accused of murder, killing his rival along with his wife, who was also in the car. So there have been countless individuals who I've represented in the past, and so when someone says, why did you take this case? I don't judge. God judges. If you pick and choose who are you going to judge in your cases, it makes you ineffective of what you're doing. And so people say, why this case? Well, why not any of those ones with the outrage that has come forth? As criminal defense attorneys, we represent the Constitution. We represent individuals. And so when people say comments to me, and I've heard a lot of them, like, you didn't have to take this one. Well, I don't have to pay my mortgage either, but if you don't, they end up taking that from you. When the individual came to me and requested representation, that's the second thing. Oh, you're just a token. You were just put on the team because you're black. I'm pretty fucking good at what I do, and I find insult to that for someone who would just say the only reason somebody would ask me for representation is because I'm black. If you check and see the things that I do, I am very damn good at what I do, and I'm a very good lawyer. And I will not apologize for being somebody when someone needs, they contact and want a good lawyer. And the assumption is, which I hate, when someone says they want the best lawyer, by saying that you're saying the best lawyer can't be African American. That's disappointing on our parts. As far as the legal defense, when a person comes to us and says the following sentence, look, a gun was pointed at my son, I thought he was going to die, so I fired and shot. That was the legal defense. There was nothing creative, there was nothing tricky, there was nothing fancy. That was the legal defense. Nothing was hidden. I don't want people to say there was all this great stuff. That was the legal defense. This was presented to a jury of 12 individuals, 7 of which were minorities, who heard that legal defense and said, yeah, that makes sense. I didn't create those facts. I'm also hearing, finally, probably most importantly, that that people are saying we need to boycott Sean Kent. I'm not fucking Target. I'm not TJ Maxx. You're going to boycott me, and then someone says we're going to boycott him and we're going to take our problems to a white lawyer. Okay, yeah, that'll show me that we don't need him. Well, enjoy jail, enjoy prison, boycott me if you will, but I will constantly and always fight for what's right. People sending the messages, and there have been some there have been some creative messages. I guess the number ones are that you have no eyebrows and stuff like that, which I know is true. So there have been some very creative messages, but there have also been some insulting ones, and there's been a lot of people who have requested phone calls, and I've talked to them. If somebody sends me a message and it's nice and polite and say, I just disagree with what you do, I've picked up the phone and I've talked to them, because I do think a system works better if you have an actual intelligent conversation. I do think there are problems with the way, and let me make this clear. The state of South Carolina did everything that they needed to do in this case. They tried their damnedest to present the case that they wanted to present. There's some very good lawyers in that office who I respect tremendously, and I know they're getting a lot of hate also, which I think is unfair, because they do what they have to do, as do we, and that's what makes the system work. If we do not fight for everybody equally, then the system fails and stops to work. I hate it, and I hate it for the young man's family. I hate it for Cyrus's family. I hate it that a young man died. I 100% do. Prosecutor said some stuff that there's a lot of things he is not going to be able to experience in his life, and I fucking hate it. I can't control that part. But I do. It saddens me. It saddens me that a young life has been snuffed out entirely too early, and I think whether people believe it or not, the defendant would agree with that. He felt that he was in a situation that something had to be done or his son would be dead now. That's his position. People disagree with it, but that's his position. And a 12-member jury heard that position and said the same. So again, people who are telling me, I'm getting a lot of the last one. I can't believe you defended that racist, you fucking coon. Racist, you fuck. And you rat. And I finally figured out what those little emojis are that you're putting on my pages. I guess that's supposed to be a coon. You're a sellout. You're a racist. And I'm just like, am I a sellout by showing the world that, you know what? I'm really good at what I do, and I'm going to fight like crazy for you or for anyone else. And so all of the threat messages and all the other situations, I hope down the road, if you need a lawyer, someone is there for you, and you get a really damn good lawyer, the best one you can be. And I hope someday we get to the point in our society where we say the best lawyers in the world have to be white and not necessarily black or people of color. We start to realize that good lawyers come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. And this is the task that we have chosen. This is the job we have chosen. This is the obligation that we have taken on, and this is one that I'll take on. I hate it though. I hate the hate, and I hate the fact that we cannot look past and realize that sometimes people can be good lawyers and still good people. So maybe we'll do a live if anyone thinks that's necessary. And by the way, put your hate comments. Tell me how much of a piece of shit I am. Tell me how bad my eyebrows, my big teeth, all the other stuff. I'm fine. Put those down there. Say all the nasty stuff you want to say. But maybe it would be interesting to have an Instagram or Facebook Live where we can take questions so people can ask questions. Because there is a lot that the world doesn't know. There's a lot that we don't know about Cyrus, Rick Chow. There's a lot that we do not know about these individuals. But if there's people who have questions about the case and the legal defense and why we did the things that we did, I'll happily answer them.
I don't think there's really much I need to say on that. I think you said everything. That's another thing. Like, why is it black people think they own all other black people in this country? Like he said, they literally will sit there and say, oh, you didn't have to take this case. Oh, but you're nobody to dictate that. Man got to pay his bills. See, I hate when they do that. It's the same thing they did with the military, right? When Trump was sending the National Guard to different cities. And then you see these people with cameras in these National Guardsmen's face, calling them all out their name, and you don't have to do this. We're not the enemy. Obviously, you're not the enemy. They're not doing nothing to you. They're not hurting you. They're just standing there. And then they will sit there and, oh, I'm not the enemy. You don't have to do this and all that. Okay, so they decide not to do this, and then guess what? They get in trouble. Now they possibly get kicked out. Is your punk ass going to pay their bills? If not, don't worry about what they doing for a living. It's not physically hurting you. And they have to pay their bills. You not going to pay them? So how you gonna try to convince somebody or tell somebody they need to leave whatever position, job, career they got going just to make you feel better? And you're not even gonna help them out with the bills till they find something else. But you want them to stop doing what they doing. Like, make it make sense. He a defense attorney. That's what he does. He defends people, all kinds of people. So he had to defend Chow. What you're not even mad that he took the case for real. What you're mad at is that Chow got off. And that he was that good at his job that Chow got off. That's what you're mad at. And we can say all day, oh, well, no, he didn't do a good job. It's already a racist system. Okay, if it was a racist system, then black people wouldn't get off there. Black people wouldn't get found not guilty. If it was a complete racist system. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments about this craziness that's going on with this case, man. Let me know, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Till next time, y'all, I'm out. I feel like I'm good on my own. Don't need nobody beside me.